This is Artanis, and welcome back to another episode of our world tour in the Feed the Beast Infinity Evolved Expert mod pack. So, I've been gone for a little while, and that doesn't mean that I haven't been playing Minecraft. I've just been too busy to actually make the videos and then sit down and edit them and render them out and then upload them. So, I apologize for that, but I'm back. I'm hoping maybe we'll do a video a week or something like that, something more realistic for my schedule, but that said, let us go ahead and get started. So, annoying nether portal in the background. This is part of the little episode building that I've been working on. So anyhow, put the armor back on. Let's see what I've been up to, shall we? So first off, that's a screen from RF Tools. It just has some text modules in it. Some of these are blank, so they give out some nice spacing. The other ones are just, text. So, yeah. This is a screen controller that powers them. All this from RF Tools. This is cobblestone generator and compressor. And that's the same from the last time I talked to you guys. Over here we have some applied energistic stuff. That's right. I did it. I finally went for the gold. I got enough UU matter. I actually let the thing run for about a week while I was at work and whatnot. And we have enough UU to make the Certus Quartz wrench. So, applied energistic system is a go. Yay. We have a quantum tunnel that goes somewhere. In here, we just have some basic machines, the AE system. Just some basic machines and whatnot. This will all be moved eventually. Over here, we have the kitchen. There's a cow and some wheat and sunflowers down there to make the cooking oil that we need. But this is all. I did install cooking for blockheads because I do enjoy the mod, and I think the multi-block kitchen is pretty cool. So that's another mod that I've added in. In this area, we have a teleporter, a sag mill, some basic machines, some other stuff. I'll explain this in a minute. And then over here we have the tinker stuff, a bit of farm, the tree farm that we've had for a while now, dye farm, and then the rubber tree and slime balls farm. So yeah, that is the base as it stands right now. And we're gonna go ahead and take a trip through the teleporter and take a look at the other side. After it decides it wants to register that we want to teleport. Oh goodness, what is this? Well, that's where the opposite side of the quantum tunnel is. This is our new base. The other base is the hex base. It's going to kind of be our farming district. This is going to be the main base where the applied energistic system lives. So again, we have access to the AE system, anvil, experience obelisk, teleporter stuff, wireless charger, and then this is just basically a mirror. And this is our auto crafting as it stands. Not much to it, but it's something. And then up there is more unfinished base, and that just goes outside. And downstairs is a blank room, a room laid out for the applied energistics, the heart of the AE system. So this will be the 4 crafting towers and the controller, and then we'll have the processing units around. Down one more level is access to it. This will be a 3x3 doorway that's done by drawbridges, so that should be pretty neat. Now, if you're wondering why I can fly and why I don't have food in my hotbar and why I mine so fast, let me explain that, because I found out about it while I was mucking about, because I wanted to find a different way to fly, because angel rings, as some of you know, are outrageously expensive in this pack. Like, holy cow. Very expensive. For me, the main thing that's expensive is the cracked runic plates, because I don't have blood magic going at all right now, which is fine. So we just can't make angel rings. But what we can do is we can use RF tools. So as you can see, I spent some time crafting up 2 ultimate hybrid solar panels. Not hybrid, just ultimate solar panels from Solar Expansion. I have 2 of them. One's at the new base, one's at this base. And they run into environmental controllers from RF tools. This is the saturation bless module. And then in this one we have the flight module. Now it's a per cubic block RF consumption. So this one is using 1916 is what Wayla is telling us. RF per tick, and this one's using 966. Now the saturation keeps my food bar full all the time, and the flight module lets me fly within the radius that that block is affecting. So kind of nice. As you can see, I don't have an angel ring or any other way to fly. I can glide with my armor if I did triple jump and then turn on the glider rings. But yeah, all right. Let's we'll finally get to this room. So what is this room? And why is there like some presentation going on for this magical box? Oh, I should explain what these storage module tablets are before I do that. So RF Tools has its own storage system, which is pretty cool. So this is a storage tablet. You charge it with energy and it kind of acts as a portable storage. So in here I have, some tools, my various bags for immersive engineering, thermal expansion, AE, Ender IO. Kind of my normal thing where I separate my bags out so that way I can easily have all of my mod items in one place. So what's this? It's a modular storage. Has a bunch of stuff in it. Well, it's what we're going to do today. This is everything that we need to do the entire setup, well, minus the redstone stuff, do the entire setup of a IC2 fluid reactor. There's a lot of moving parts with this build, and it took me quite some time to set everything up. Lots of crafting, lots of rubber, lots of copper. When I say lots of copper, I mean a lot of copper. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do today. And you're probably going, well, where do you plan on putting this thing? I will show you in just a minute after I rip this down. Yep, gotta pull it down. I'm making you guys watch me mine. How terrible is that? Put that away, and all these things can just... There. Perfect. So back through the teleporter. You're probably like, I didn't see a space for this. Well, that's just because I didn't show you the space. So below this access room, and I had to dig this out and set it up so that way I knew how much space I had. If we go down one more, there's no decoration to the room yet, but this is where it's going to go. So let's plop this guy down and start building him out. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get out all of the reactor access hatches and the fluid ports and all of that stuff. So the redstone port's going to go there. And we're going to have 4, actually, we're going to do this a little bit differently. I might need 8 fluid ports, so I might have to go craft some more stuff really quick. Because I'm thinking, how do we want to do this? We may actually only do 2. That's not good places for them, though. We'll do 4, like this. Alright, 2 in, 2 out. Then we gotta build this up to a 5x5. What did I do wrong? I didn't. That's where it should be, and that's centered. So in there goes the normal reactor. So I don't have any blocks on me. It's actually kind of unfortunate because these things take a minute to break. So we'll go ahead and put down the reactor itself. And then we'll place down the reactor chambers. and the rest of the pressure vessels will go on here. And I want to have the access hatches not quite centered. We actually are going to change that right now because I do want them centered. I think that'll look better now that I think about it. So, access hatch. Nope, not access hatch. That's where the pressure vessel goes. Pressure vessel, and then 3, 1, 2, and then we'll finish capping this guy off. We might need to put a torch on top of it just until we get proper magnum torch going on in here and a bit of lighting for this area. I'm not going to light the outer area. The inner area will be lit though for visual sake. We need to pick this back up. Okay, so we need this, and our hazmat suit, or the boots. We are about to handle uranium. So, the way this reactor works is it's a fairly efficient design. It's just a bit expensive is all. Okay, so I need to really quickly pull up the picture that I took of the inside because I don't exactly remember how all the components go in. So if I get into my screenshots folder really quick, that one. So we have the 3 fuel rods, then we're going to have 3 of these, down like this, 1 here, 5 right here, and 1 in that corner. Then we have component heat vents every other, like that. And then these will just go in diagonal rows every other row. So should go like this. And then, yep, this row and this row. And finally here. And the rest is just these overclocked heat vents, all 20 of them. And that, my friends, is the layout for our reactor. So 3 quad fuel rods and then a bunch of other components. All right, we're making progress. So now how much space do we have left? Between here and the wall. 8 meters. So let's do a 2 wide space. I need some blocks. Do I have any blocks in here? I don't think I do. I do. I actually have a few blocks. So that'll work. So we're going to do a 2 block gap. So there's 1, 2. And that will be the back. And then we'll need 3 and 3. Okay. Same on these sides. So I'm only going to build one of the next components on camera, and the rest I will do off camera, so you guys don't have to watch me deal with machine rotation and all of that stuff, because it might get a bit boring and or tedious. So the next bit, all we need is what is in this bag. And I actually think I may have missed a few components that I need, so I'm going to have to go make those. I actually need a bunch of ejector modules for fluids and some fans. So I will be right back, and then we will build this thing together. So give me just a moment, and we will be back. All right, we are back, and I have all the parts that we need. So let's go ahead and build out one of these cooling towers. So as you can see, I kind of have the components laid out here in what seems to be maybe a bit of a random order, but I assure you it is not. It's quite it's a logical order, I promise. And I am going to be careful about how I pull all of these out, because I want to, well, I mean, it really doesn't matter. I know how the components go down, but I just want to make sure I explain this in a way that makes sense. So, first off, we have the heat exchangers. Now, heat exchangers take a hot fluid and they will convert it into a cool fluid, generating heat, which will be output this face of the block when they're doing so. Next, we have our steam generators. And these actually do have some settings that are rather important. So I'm going to make sure I have those pulled up so that way we can see. So we're going to go for 221 bars and 1 millibucket per tick. So this isn't heated up yet, nor does it have any water in it. So it's not going to tell us what it's going to output just yet, but it will once we finish building it. So on top, we basically have the exact same thing. Now this is just going to be inserting distilled water, if I remember right. Let me look really quick. Yes. I have a bunch of screenshots in my testing world. That's how I know how to do all these things. And then we do another one on top. So the top is just a direct mirror of the bottom. All right. And then we're going to go, yeah, I'm just going to get all these machines out. I don't need to. Cool. All right, so next, we need some kinetic steam generators. Now, these, I think they need to face like this, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm not mistaken, which I might be. I might have to rotate these the other way, because sometimes I get messed up with which way is the output face. I think this is output. So these go like this, and they take the steam that this generates from heat, and this one will get superheated steam, which will generate, I believe it's 400 kinetic units per tick. This one will get the normal steam, the byproduct from using up the superheated steam, which will make 200 kinetic units per tick, and the same thing down here. And those get pointed into our kinetic generators. Now, if I remember, I actually need to do that. Let me look. Yes, I think that's right. Okay, so this will make 50 EU per tick, and this will make 100 EU per tick, so it's 150 per setup. Whoops, that's not what I intended to do. And do. Okay. So that's that. And then in between these guys, we have MFEs that point out. I'm gonna go switch my armor back because I'm done handling the uranium, and I want to walk fast again. Alright, so that handles the output. In here we have another conduit. This one is not connected at all. As like so. And then over here we need to have our condensers like so. They will take the remnants of what's in here and turn it back into distilled water for us. All right, and I believe I just have a machine casing here for looks. Yep, that seems all about right. And then up here we have our, where are they? Our fluid distributors, which I need to rotate so that they are like this, and then we set them to concentrate mode. As you can see, the arrows point in on all sides except for this one now. And we'll do the same thing on this one to concentrate mode. So that way we can pull right out of the middle. And we don't. So this will be extract. And then we will set this to active always. Okay. This is inserting. And then we just need to install the rest of the components. So we need 4 heat fans per condenser, so that way we can cool off the water a bit faster. We also need some of these guys. So we need 1 in each kinetic steam generator, and we need 1 in the condenser, right? So we'll do the same thing in here. 1 in each steam generator, and 1 in the condenser. And then we need some of these and 4 steam turbines. So in here, we'll go the steam turbines. And up here in these, each of these will take 10 of these heat conductors. This just gets the transfer rate from 0 all the way up to, I need a bit more. There we go. So that is a cooling tower in a nutshell, and I just realized I did not raise it up 1 block, so I have to rip the whole dang thing down. And just something for you guys to know, I'm actually not too sad I made this mistake right now, because it lets me show you, you should probably pull everything out of your blocks before you break them, because it seems that in the current version of Industrial Craft there might be an issue where when you break the block, not all of the contents spill on the ground properly, and therefore you would end up losing them, which is not ideal at all. So these are just machine casings. These are not. And everything else just wrench all up. So I'm going to rebuild this, and I'm going to rebuild the other 3, and then I will be back when I am done with that. See you guys in just 1 moment. We are back. It's been probably an hour or so that I've spent working, and we have made some pretty significant progress. So I have all 4 cooling towers set up on their pedestals, so they look nice. Eventually I'll probably cover the top just so everything's one nice even level. But I'm also may leave it like this just to give the room a bit more dimension. Not quite sure. It'll depend on the decorations that I end up doing. So each of the cooling towers is set up. They all have filtered in and out for the coolant. They're all set up correctly, so that they will pull the coolant in and out. All of the distilled water is ready to go. And you might be asking, well, Artanis, where are all these cables going? All these ender fluid conduits, which there are quite a few. Where are they going? Well, they are down 1 level. And don't freak out when you see this, because it looks a little bit daunting. And it took me a while to set everything up in a way that looked nice and that made some sense. So, yes, this is Spaghetti Monster of ender fluid conduits and a few other things. So here is the distilled water drum. That will go up and into those. This is our safety backlog. And I will be setting up the solar distillers outside, maybe on a sky platform, chunk loaded in the area though. And that will just pull a comparator signal off of this and say, hey, if this is full, we don't need to make any more distilled water. We can just sit. Whereas if we drop below a certain amount, then we want to fill it back up and make sure we don't run out of stuff. So I'll do that off of camera and get that all set up as well. So in the middle is a bit of a scary mess, right? I could have done this a little more cleanly, but I wanted it to upstairs have these be inputs close to the reactor, and away from the reactor is the output, so it just ended up being like this. So these lines are the cold coolant return lines. So they go into this tank, which pulls out and goes into those 4 fluid ports. I ended up making 4 more, so I have 8 in total, and there's the redstone port. So we have these 4 going in. They are filtered for cold coolant, although these lines don't touch anywhere, so we shouldn't have issues, but it's just in case something weird does happen, we don't end up with hot coolant in the cold coolant drum or cold coolant in the hot drum. So that will go into the reactor and get heated up, and then these 4 lines pull it out and bring it down into this cold drum. Now I wanted a way to distribute stuff evenly without just pulling directly from the drum, so I wanted to have something a little bit different, something kind of cool, another element to the build rather than just run cable, attach, done. So I incorporated some translocators, some liquid translocators. So these all have glowstone on them, which means they transferred, I think, double the rate is what it looks like. Maybe it's more. So they all are transferring very quickly. And underneath, this one is an output, and all 4 of these are inputs. And this one also has redstone on it, so if I give it a signal, it will not transfer out, which is cool. We might make use of that. I don't know if we will. I may just end up pulling a comparative signal off of each of these, putting them through a 4-way AND gate and saying, okay, we're good. All the inputs say they're full, we can shut off, we can begin power cycle. Which I should be able to do with timing, but again, redundancy is key here. So it will distribute 4 ways evenly, and each of these holds 256, so we have 512, 1024, another number, and 2048. So we have 2048 barrels or buckets worth of storage here and 2048 buckets inside of that drum. So once everything's converted into hot, we'll have 8 full drums, and then we can turn off the heat up cycles. We can turn off the reactor fully, like it won't be on a cooldown cycle, it'll just be off without any way to turn itself back on. And we will turn on these, which go up and into all 4 of the liquid heat exchangers. So that will be cool. So that'll all go up there and do its thing and make all the energy that we need. And all of the coolant will come back down into this drum, and when this drum is full, or I will probably do, I'll probably have it set up so that when this drum is empty, it will wait for a certain amount of time for all of the coolant to flush through, or we'll just have an EU reader that says, hey, we're no longer making power. But that's a little bit unreliable because if an MFSU fills up, then we backlog on power, and we don't want to go back into heating cycle until all of our fluid is done. So we would wait for a certain amount of time for all of this fluid to get pumped through, and then this would be full again, and the cycle just continues. So that's how this will work. Now, I already did I think I did an okay explanation of how this works. It's a little bit easier to visualize with the pipe. Hot coolant comes in, gets turned into cold coolant, goes back out. All the heat goes into this guy, makes superheated steam, which goes back through these 2 turbines. This uses the superheated steam to make 100 EU per tick. Then it's normal steam, makes 50 EU per tick. Everything gets sent back into these condensers, which use vents to cool it off faster. This guy, they eject it into the fluid distributor, which is in collecting mode, concentrate, and then it goes back down into the barrel, or ideally it just goes back in and cycles into these. So, yes, that is the system. That is how it will run. I am going to get busy doing some redstone for all of this. I might set up a computercraft computer. I don't know if I want to go that route when I can do everything with some gates and a few timers, which I think is maybe preferential to writing a program. So we will see. But anyway, that's going to conclude episode 2 of the world tour. Next time, I will have all of the redstone done, and we will start this thing up and start making EU. As always, thank you very much for watching, and have a wonderful day. Take it easy, guys.